The Amateur Television Net is on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Catch up with the latest ATV news. See the latest television projects, shack layouts and much more. A good time to ask questions about amateur television. We use local 2-meter liaison frequency FM simplex 147.400 MHz and Berwick repeater 439.375 MHz. Every Tuesday starting 8 p.m.
Great, good evening. I'm standing in for our regular net controller, Neil, for this evening, and my name's Ian, and I'm situated near the CBD, just to the north of the city. And so we've got a small but enthusiastic group of operators to share with us some video. And the first cab off the rank will be Peter over on RTV1. And at this stage I don't have anyone else lined up for RTV1, so Peter, if you can, subject to further developments, if you could pass it back to me, I might just do a short presentation and then hand it over to Mick, VK3CH, and then Joe, VK3TET, as that's about all I can recall as being in the lineup so far this evening. All right, just the watchers that are checked in. We've got Richard, VK3VRS, who was out and about last weekend microwaving, and will have some video for us shortly, so that look forward to that. And Bob VBVR is watching, as is James, VK3HB. Fred, one of our regulars, is also on deck watching, VK3ZAQ. And on YouTube we have Nick, who is watching us and the dust storm flying around in the air, and but there's no rain to keep the dust down, obviously. We've got David, VK2DJV, our enthusiastic watcher from VK2 land, and Vince, VK3YVS, and VK3QSL, Greg. So that's great to have you watching. Currently we've got about 13. That'll probably build up to nearer 20 with a bit of luck, so that'd be great. All right, without any further ado, I see we've got Peter flying the flag on RTV1, and if I had my act together, I would have been able to put up a banner to say go to RTV something or other, RTV1, but I haven't got my act together. Oh, just as an acknowledgement, recently I had a renewal. I renewed my membership to Amateur Radio Victoria, and it's sort of something that we take in for what's the term? Taken for granted, is the word I'm trying to get out of my mouth, is the work that the ARVIC does for quite a modest sum of $30 for 2 years, not 1, 2 years membership. They maintain all the many repeaters, most of the repeaters around Victoria. They also provide a QSL bureau. They provide advice on RFI and EMR aspects, local government advice regarding the installation and planning permits for masts. They run a weekly broadcast and help with deceased estates in regards to radio equipment disposal. So, there's lots of services. It's only a small band of volunteers that I'm aware of that are actively providing those services, but it's and also this repeater that we're operating on would not be possible without the enthusiastic and valued support of Amateur Radio Victoria. And so I do encourage people to be members of that organisation. So there you are. There's without a hard sell for Amateur Radio Victoria, and keep up the good work, you guys. It's great. All right, Peter, I will now call you in. Are you waiting there patiently? So without any further ado, we'll cross to Peter on RTV 1.
Okay, I think we should have otherwise we'll have feedback. Well, good evening everyone, I'm Peter, VK3BFG. I'd certainly follow up on Ian's comments about Amateur Radio Victoria. It is an organisation that has rooms at Ashburton, and there's monthly meetings there on a Saturday for homebrew guys, and sort of that's the kind of guys as well. And John 3ATV will be announcing a date shortly, I think in July maybe, where all the ATV gang can get together at the rooms and have a bit of a social. But yes, Ian is quite right about 3RTV. It was supported at Olinda. It's always been, the licence fees have always been paid by Amateur Radio Victoria, and then behind that was various donations at various times over the years since 1971, would you believe? So it's been a long association. And of course, when we lost Olinda, the site at Mountview became available. It required a fair bit of renovation. There was a serious amount of water incursion, and the tower had to be partially restored and then examined and get the regulators' tick of approval as being safe to operate. And then to add to that, we were given the opportunity of 5 cables up the tower. One for the transmit antenna, which was going to go and is right there now, right at the very top of the tower, and then 4 others available for panels that we put up in the various directions to try and get as good a coverage as we could, with antennas with just a little bit of gain, and therefore a beam width that's operational. So, and we've been successful in doing that. And then add to that an AV rack. Now these racks, if you go into JCar or you go online anywhere and you have a look at how much these things cost, even a small one, well, this is a very large one, and it would be probably $2,000 or $3,000 worth. So all of that came from Amateur Radio Victoria, and a lot of that is not really known, and probably the first time that we've sort of summarised what the contribution has been over time. So there's no compulsion, of course, but it would be great if people did support. And as Ian mentioned, the cost is very, very modest for 2 years. Anyway, RTV seems to be going okay. Cross fingers. As I haven't been up there again during this week at all, so I think hopefully things have settled down. Having a little bit of spare time on my hands whilst all of that been good. I've pulled a couple of projects out of the woodwork that have either been in progress or put aside or whatever. And one of these I came across just this afternoon, actually, was this little box. Oh, and I'll show you the front of it first. It's got a 3.5 little touch screen, and inside the device, which I think you can see some boards there, the top board that you can see there is really just a connection to the Raspberry Pi that sits underneath it, and then enables all of the pinouts to be taken across. And the board that you can see on the left there, which is just under my finger there, is the original Portsdown board. And Portsdown started its life as partly software and partly hardware. At a later time it morphed into mainly software and the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is still there, and then you can just see a PHA A1 linear amp there. And just looking up the back again, well, that's the front. You can see the Raspberry Pi sitting in there, and you plug the little dongle in, and it's DVB-S, standard def stuff. The problem here was the ADF 4351, which is the PLL source for the local oscillator, seemed to be faulty, and I've had a rummage around and I found another one. So I think I might try and get this going, and we'll see what happens. Certainly, it's very portable. Bang, you've got it. And with a little 3.5-inch touch screen. The touch screen looks, when you switch it on, it looks exactly the same as the standard Portsdown. It has that same facility with the little touch screen areas that you bring up. But it was the first where they had a hardware board, and really in the hardware board is just a series of filters for the various bands that were going to be used, which didn't really equate to us very much. We're only using one of them, but it's still a partly hardware, partly software sort of arrangement. Anyway, we'll see what transpires with that one over time. As well as that, I think I mentioned last week, I'm reconstituting my Eclipse glider, and I've been programming my JR radio. JR was a very prominent radio control company, and I bought this 14-channel device from JR's. I've had JR's probably most of the time. And about a month after I bought it, the organisation went broke or stopped trading or whatever. So, but fortunately, there's still some support for it, and over here I've been setting up the servo. So I'll show you that with a bit of shaky cam down here. So I've got the system just on the bench, and there's the 14-channel transmitter, and on the bench here you can see I've got they're only old servos because I'm just testing, so it didn't really matter. They're not the ones that are actually going to be in the system, but enough to see. So we can show you what. See that first servo here? That's on my rudder, and then the second servo you can see there. That's on my elevator. So we've got that working, and the two here, they're back here. They're a left and right aileron, and if you're observant, you would see that there's a little bit of rudder mixing with that. and particularly for gliders, you need probably a little bit more mixing than what's there. You need rudder with aileron, and those that have flown gliders know that. And then over here, we've got the motor control, so that one's working. And then over here we've got flap. That would be flap down, and then we've got just a fraction of flap up there. Now, flap up is a reflex arrangement, and I have to program the ailerons to go up slightly at the same time for that. So there's a bit of cross mixing I've got to work out for that. But if you do that, if you bring your flap up into a positive angle, and also you bring the two ailerons up similarly, you'll increase the speed of the glider, so you'll start to move. It's typically used if you find yourself in sync. You can get the hell out of it pretty quick by doing that. So I'm probably 3/4 of the way in setting up all of that on the system, and then when I install in the glider, it'll be travel adjusts, which is embedded in the system as well. And that's the receiver there, sitting. Two little antennas, as we saw last week. A little bit of coax out, and then just the end there is the actual antenna. And they've got to be preferably located at 90 degrees. So that's taken me most of the afternoon to sort all that out, but we're getting there. So that's about it from me. I think I'm handing it now back to Ian, so VK3QL to take it, and everyone move over to RTV2. This is VK3BFG.
I was trying to work out how to bring myself into the activity, so all good. And yes, thanks Peter. And that's not an area I've worked on. Actually, I've given myself a bit more headroom. Someone pointed out to me at the Moorabbin Hamfest a couple of weeks ago how important headroom is above as far as framing the head, as it were. So I thought I was I've got a new chair, so it's a bit hit and miss at the moment. I haven't really done a full setup for that, but I hope people are appreciating my my studio control room. Actually, I've forgotten where this photo was taken, but anyway, it looks good. It's all show. Well, no, I'm glad I haven't got that many inputs. I've just got enough as it is that I can mess up without having a lot of complexity, a more complex setup. All right, I'm just waffling, so let's not waffle and go straight into my first item, which is a segment from the last BATC QO100 net on Friday morning. I'm sure those that are up at 5 o'clock in the morning probably caught it, but for those who weren't able to, this is a Collins segment about the blue modules. Neil should be very interested in this clip from the past, well, a reminder of past activities and successes.
Hey, and what have I been doing? Well, I had a requirement for a little 2-watt PA for 23 cents, and I came across, I think I've said this, so I'll probably try and simplify it a little bit, but I came across these modules here, these SHL 78 00. I've forgotten the number now. Yeah, 7008. That's the one. Yeah, which fits the bill perfectly because it's very low power and such like. And came across a VK website. It's quite a while ago now, but detailing the modifications that needs to be done. This is I was surprised to find the device actually. There we are, VK3 RTV, and found a little board for it which was done by VK3 BFG. So I didn't expect to be able to didn't expect to be able to find this PCB anywhere at this this juncture. So I thought I'll try and replicate that. So I've been doing that as a bit of an exercise with the assistance of John in America, and came up with something which is similar. So between us we've got this together. So I'm waiting there now for those to come back from JLC PCB. Very inexpensive, but yeah. So that's what I've been doing, and the idea of that is I've got two. I need two of them actually, and I'd say I found some allegedly brand new units. Hopefully, hopefully they'll be all right. But let me just get this over here, and that's to go with the little mini port stands. This is a little. There's two of them. There's two of them there. One lives in the shack and one goes out and about. So there we are. That's that. So that runs off it doesn't use much power, you see. So I can run it off a little battery. And I've been out and about with this barefoot, with just a lime barefoot, but I could do with a tiny bit more. So I thought I'll build this little amplifier. It doesn't take much power either. It's not much output, a couple of watts max, maybe less. So that's what I've been engaged in doing. So I'll have a little go at those. Now I've just got to wait for the boards to arrive and then do the rest of it. But it's very QRP. I was amazed to actually find any of these, because these modules haven't been made for many years. It's a very old project, really.
Right, so yeah, these BATC nets are on 6 o'clock now. Oh, it moves around our time in the morning on a Friday. So by all means, that's just one 3-minute clip from what's usually an hour and a quarter, sometimes hour and a half of very interesting building projects and reporting on what's happening around the traps. So that's the story there. Right, why don't we go for a quiz, and then after the quiz I'll just do an intro for Mick VK3CH. Right, so the next cab off the rank is Mick, VK3CH in Doncaster, and then Joe, VK3TET are on. So if you can hand it on to Joe, VK3TET, and Joe, if you could hand it back to me, or I'll pick it up at the end of it. I'm not sure if you've got live commentary or not, but anyway, I'll pick it up at suitable completion of your 5-minute segment. So, all right, Mick, without any further ado, I shall, on the K, drop carrier and hand it over to you on RTV 2.
And there we go. So if I press that. Okay, yep, no worries. Good evening, everyone. And yeah, further on to discussions about Amateur Radio Victoria. I got my subs request the other day, so just a black and white printer to print the certificate. Yeah, I've been a member since, I don't know, ever since I was mucking around with ATV stuff. I think back in the mini kits days. I forget the actual year I joined. I think I joined pretty much once I had the licence. Yeah, anyway, since the Northcote days. Yeah, just a question I was going to ask. I suppose we'll get told later on as things go by. Yeah, when the date is for the gathering at the Amateur Radio Victoria Ashburton for the ATV get-together. Yeah, hope to go along to that. Worth going to. Went the other year. And this time we'll go there a bit earlier instead of lunchtime. What else was I going to tell you? No, that's about it. Yeah, the few things I was going to plan. When this thing switches on, it automatically mutes the TV, but there's also an on-air sign. And the relay's not picking up. I think it's fussy. It wants, I think, the full 13.8 volts instead of just 12. It used to go. So I've got to pull the thing apart and get to the buck converter and just get the jeweler screwdriver, and I did set it for 12, so I might have to screw it up a little bit more just to make that relay pick up, mainly for the XYL's benefit, just so that we know we're on air. She's always worried she's going to wander in and be seen on the camera, and anyway, whatever. What else? I haven't done that. Haven't fixed up the bamboo pole. Just too many domestic chores and other interruptions, and then when you finish with that, then you'd rather just chill out and rest, or the weather's wet and stuff. So we'll get around to it eventually. I think that's about all I've really got to say. Yeah, can't think of much else. So Joe, TET, if you want to come up now, we're transmitting on T, so whatever kind of changeover that makes for you. And then, yeah, as Ian said, you can hand it back to him. So yeah, catch yous later. VK3CH.
Okay, so let's have a look at our kit, so to speak. We've got 2 identical glasses, we've got some milk arrowroot biscuits, we've got a clock, and we have a kettle full of hot water just boiled. So let's just make some tea. Okay, I just stopped the video here just so you can see the beginning of the time as we start dunking in the plain tea. It's well, just short of 4 seconds, right? So we start the dunk at 4 seconds. Okay, we're pulling out the biscuit at 32 seconds. It's just about to break up, so just saved it before it breaks up. So we subtract 4 from 32, so the total time is 28 seconds. Well, just to be a little bit more accurate, checking on the state of the biscuit has been out of the tea for about 5 seconds if you add up the time that I pulled the biscuit out. So we've got 5 seconds to remove from 28, so it's 23 seconds. A bit of an awkward position for the clock. We start the dunking in the milk tea at 2 seconds. So here we go. Okay, we pull out the biscuit at 16 seconds. It is just about to break up. So we've got 16 seconds minus 2, which is 14 seconds for the milk with tea. Okay, we've just performed the experiment and we've got the results. Now, for the science behind the results. Tune in, same time, same channel, next week when all will be revealed.
Right, with a bit of luck, all the set-top boxes will be settling in by now, and we've now back on direct transmit, so it's good. All right, thanks for that, Joe. Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, it's going to be excitement plus next week to when it's all revealed. Yes, I'll have to contemplate on that. While we're contemplating on that puzzle, why don't I show you a 3-question, more difficult quiz? Again, another more difficult quiz series. Fire away. Great. All right. So we're really testing the grey matter this evening. All right. The next thing I was going to touch on was, well, the weather. Melbourne has experienced some incredible weather for May. The first half of May was very warm days. Got a bit cooler in the evening, that's for sure, but most unusual series of warm weather days during the first 14 days, and then it's turned a bit cooler to be less accurate. It's gone bloody cold, actually. Quite a shock after the nice warm start to the May. But anyway, what we have here is the 5-day forecast for the next few days, and it's going to rain right up until Friday. So people working will have to go to work in the wet weather. Saturday and Sunday, though, will be glimpses of rain with cloud clearing and a bit of no rain. So that's great. All right, so how's that going to affect the tropospheric forecast? Let's have a look at that. So this goes for until Sunday, UTC, midday Sunday. So this leads up to the weekend, and it's quite interesting weather pattern, because looking at that weather chart, you would have thought there's not much tropospheric conditions likely to be around, but that's not the case. It's at the weekend, it's certainly going to be very interesting formations there that could be useful for VHF, UHF and above. Right, talking about events, this is the calendar events that I'm aware of. And so we've got Fox Hunting Championship beginning of June. Always very popular with the fox hunters, and there's also a lot of gear becomes available on display, sort of a pre-loved gear sale. As I understand it, the June winter UHF, VHF microwave field day is 21st, 22nd, and of course there's the Gippsland Gate Radio and Electronics Club Hamfest on the 5th of July. Late July, I did pick up a date when John last covered this, so the date I had was late, that was around the 20th of July, so I'm just putting that as a notional possible date for the get-together for the ATV chat and greet opportunity. That's to be confirmed, that last item there. And while we're looking at timetables and events, why not touch on the ASV broadcast by Clint on 10 o'clock on every Friday.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
Right, we've had a few other people join us on the YouTube. I don't think I mentioned David has joined us. VK2 DJV, Vince VK3YVS. I haven't noticed Vince up on the chat line before, so great, welcome. Greg VK3QSL. I think I did mention Greg, but that's fine. Claudio, quite a keen watcher from Italy, and actually Claudio appeared on one of our nets via a link, so that was great. And the station master has shown up. No idea what I'm watching here. You just popped up in my feed, so there you are. No, you can be lucky on YouTube and catch all the good stuff when you land on the net being transmitted live. All right, that's all I've got for this evening. I'll finish, close the net and pass the frequency on to others who may want to use it. This has been the executive producer for this evening has been Lucy.